Yes, YouTube, we are back online. It's leg day, goddammit. Been watching a lot of Rich Piana, and that's just one of his catchphrases if you don't know who he is. So I'm going to run you through my full leg day. This is the first leg day that I've done on YouTube, so big day, massive day. I love a leg day. I do get a little bit nervous, get a little bit shaky because the heavy lifts, man, relative to me, I feel like legs is probably one of my stronger muscle groups, and it's just heavy anyway. I've got hack squats on the cards, I've got a cluster set on the cards, which is disgusting, but I know it's going to be a good session. So I'm going to run through my leg day. I'm also going to cover how you should navigate training when injured or training around an injury, something that I think is extremely important. It's going to depend on the extent of the injury, how bad it is. Like if you're in a wheelchair, partially disabled, temporarily disabled, it's probably not a good idea going and training in the gym. But I feel like there are a lot of injuries that people sustain, people get, and they can still train. They can definitely work around the injury, but they just choose not to because of that injury. And I think that's where people fall into a lot of problems. They fall out of routine, they get wildly out of shape, and it's not necessary. So fingers crossed at the end of this video, you'll have a leg day that will help you to grow some absolute tree trunk legs. And you'll know how to train around an injury, which are two incredibly important things. I need to get my ass to the gym, so I'm going to drive there now. You're not on a tripod, so I'm going to put you in my bag and I'll catch you in the gym, probably kicking things off with some abs, because that's how I like to start my leg day. Yes, people, so we're kicking things off in the captain's chair. I didn't actually know it was called that. One of my clients came down to train with me and he said, oh, this exercise on the captain's chair. I was like, what? What's the captain's chair? And I searched it up online. Apparently it's this bad boy. So we always like to start leg day with abs. I feel like a lot of people leave them till the end of the session, but after a leg day, I don't want to do anything. So kicking things off with some abs. I'm going to do 3 sets of leg raises, and then I'm going to do 3 sets of ab crunch, and then I'll be time for legs. No warm-up needed because this is a bodyweight exercise. It's fairly light, so I'm just going to crank out some reps and see how many I can get. It's an absolute killer, man. When I started my push-up after my shoot about 8 weeks ago, I was just doing my knees. Switching from knees to legs is so hard. Knee raises to leg raises is so hard. Feels good though. Feel it already, 1 set in. Just touching on training around injuries, let's get started with that stuff. So I feel like a lot of people get injured and they just stop training. They think, oh, I'm not able to do a certain movement, where they've got a shoulder injury, and then they just think, oh, I'm just not going to train at all. That's where you run into problems where you're falling out of routine, you're starting to lose a little bit of muscle, and it's not necessary. If you've got a shoulder injury that's not that bad, like you can still go in and train legs, you might be able to do some abs, you might be able to do some arm work. My sort of philosophy when it comes to training around an injury is go in and see what you can do. Test out everything, like different loads, tempos, rep ranges, exercises. Just go in, get a little bit of blood flow into the area. That's going to be better than doing nothing. Even if you're not able to train the muscles that hard, it's going to allow you to stay in some sort of routine, which is so powerful. Because when you get back to full health, you're not having to start fresh, figuring out a new routine. You can just sort of crack on and continue to do what you were doing before, but to a higher intensity. It's a little bit funny as well, this topic for me, because before I hopped on with my coach around 18 months ago, I was very much in that mindset. Well, I'm injured, I'm just going to leave it, let my body rest, recover. But my coach, when I've been injured, I hit my back quite badly, he's always sort of pushed me to be mobile, move around. Even if it's a little bit achy and a little bit sore, move around, get some blood flow into the area. That's obviously going to aid recovery. And then with training, just go in, see what you can do. Obviously, don't harm yourself, don't aggravate the injury, don't make it any worse. But just go in and do some bits here and there. It's going to help you out mentally, because training always does. It's going to keep you in a great spot for when you're healing and you're back to feeling fresh again. Then you can just get to attacking the weights. I feel like a lot of people, and myself included at one point, they use pain as permission not to train, not to do anything. I think there's a massive difference between pain, discomfort, and damage. If you're in the gym and you're training and you feel like you're doing damage to a muscle or a joint or whatever it might be, like don't train, stop, recover. But if you're in a little bit of discomfort or you're in a little bit of pain, you can definitely go in and do certain bits. You may not be able to train that muscle group directly, but you may be able to train other muscle groups. And again, that's only going to serve you well, that's only going to benefit benefit you. I think the first sort of area of attack is to go in with the training plan that you've got and try to do those movements. Start off by reducing the load significantly. So start off really light, potentially start with no weight and then just work your way up. But don't just get injured and then sack things off before you've even tried. Like, you need to go in and try. See if you can mimic the same exercises, and then you can move forward from there. You can sort of scale things back. Like, if you go in and you've not got weight on a machine and you try to do the machine that's causing you lots of pain, leave it. Try something else. On to exercise number 2 for abs, which is going to be the last exercise. I'm not going to lie, this exercise is a little bit sus. Looks like you're chewing rod. Not that I've done that before, but I mean, I know what it sort of looks like. Let's get cracking. God, burns, man. Just key points for that movement. You want to keep your legs, you want to keep everything still. The main sort of driver for movement and tension on the abs, spinal flexion, curving your spine, crunching your spine, and then spinal extension, which is just arching your spine. If you can nail those 2 things, you're going to get a strong contraction. You're also getting a nice big stretch, which is exactly what we're after as bodybuilders. I think another thing that's extremely important to bear in mind is you're much better off trying to strengthen an area rather than just completely avoiding it. And again, this is something I fell victim to. A lot of the points that I'm going to talk about in this video, they come from personal experience. So I suffered a bulging disc, L5S1, right at the bottom, and it was brutal. Like, any car journeys over 30 minutes, I'd get shooting pains down my legs, my back would be in bits, flying was a nightmare. So I really had to take things steady for a while, and that injury sort of cropped up out of nowhere. This was a few years ago. I'd suffered with the injury for around 18 months, and then things started to get a little bit better naturally. And then hopped on board with my coach, Reese, and deadlifts were in the plan, and I looked at him, I was like, oh God, I didn't want to do them. Like, there was nothing I'd rather do less in the gym than deadlifts, because my lower back's a major weak point, and it still is. So we sort of went back and forth, and he said, I think it would be good for you to at least try and work the weight up and strengthen the area, build your sort of lift confidence. So I did do that, and I was fine for a while. I managed to work my way up to a 200 kilo deadlift, which for me was a massive achievement. I did a little series on Instagram. If you haven't seen it, it was a while ago. And then around 7 to 8 months ago, I was deadlifting, and I tweaked it again, and it was really bad. I half came up and then my back tweaked, and I did this weird sort of rocking motion with my back, and I dropped the weight and I was lying on the floor. I was like, oh God. I didn't know how bad the injury was. It was bad as soon as it happened. I was literally like disabled for a little bit. I stopped my session there. I could barely move. I could barely walk. I couldn't even, bless him. One of the workers at the gym, I sort of cordoned him over while I was lying on the floor. I was like, mate, can you help me get these plates off? Like, my back's in bits. And he did. And then after that, I just sort of hobbled out and I left. And then after a couple of weeks, staying away from movement, doing little bits, it was back to normal. And since that point, I've been deadlifting. I'm working my deadlifts up again, and it's okay. But one thing I do want to mention, I did just mention it briefly then, lift confidence is definitely a thing. When I'm going and doing my deadlifts top set, there's still something in the back of my mind subconsciously where I'm thinking, oh God, my lower back, is it going to hold up? Is it going to hold up? And I feel like that's something that you just have to work past with practice, with doing the reps and building up that confidence. But I think that it is really important. And for me, it's been majorly beneficial to actually focus on strengthening the area rather than just avoiding it completely. In terms of like longevity in the gym, especially with a lower back, which is involved in a lot of movements, if you do just neglect that area and it is a genuine weak point, that weak point is going to carry over into other movements. For example, squats, bent over barbell rows. And I didn't want that to affect my training. I'm prepping for a bodybuilding show next year. I'm trying to build as much muscle as possible, so I need to be training hard. I also need to be training all of my muscles. So just a bit of advice from personal experience and from what I've been taught over the years of training. If you do get injured, focus on trying to strengthen the area and support it. Don't just completely neglect it. Another little tip for calves, if you actually want them to grow, which I do, they respond best to stretch-mediated hypertrophy, which essentially just means spend the majority of your time each rep in the stretch. Hold it in the stretch. Control the eccentric. And then when you go up to the concentric, when the muscle's contracted, just stay there briefly and then hop back down. I'll show you now in this set. This is a top set. God, they're burning. Take that advice with a pinch of salt, by the way. I know my calves are tiny. I'm not the oracle of calf training by any means, but I'm tall, I'm 6'3", so for me to get big calves, it's incredibly hard. I'm trying my best, there's nothing more I can do. On to exercise number 2, which for today is a lying hamstring curl. Now, touching on the injuries again, just the same with lifting. Like, the goal for you should always be to be consistent, not perfect. Like, perfect is unrealistic. Like, things crop up, you're an adult, you've got work, you've got kids, a social occasion might crop up that you want to go to, a birthday, Christmas, whatever it is. Your focus just needs to be on being consistent. So if that means going into the gym and lifting a few light weights just so that you can say that you've been to the gym and you've trained, then that's what you should be doing. So always aim to uphold that routine and always aim to be consistent. It's going to serve you really well in the long run. 2 sets on this. Going to do 1 top set, which I will show you now, and then we're on to leg extension. That was a full stack, by the way. Your boy's getting strong. That was a full stack for 15. Might have to look at buying a gym pin, which is quite an exciting prospect, to be honest, because I don't really think I'm that strong. I know that is strong, but in general terms, like for my size, for my height, and for my weight, I think there's a lot of people that are stronger than I am. That was my top set. I'm supposed to get in the 8 to 12 rep range. I've got 15, so I'm actually not going to drop the weight. I'm going to keep the weight as is and just do as many reps as I can. Let's get it. Another point to help you sort of work around those injuries, you need to make use of machines and the different adjustments. Makes it a little bit more comfortable for you. For example, if you've injured your wrist and you're finding it really hard to supinate and twist your wrist outwards, but you're okay to sort of semi-supinate or even do a hammer curl, you'd be better off doing a hammer curl than doing absolutely nothing. So you need to work around, make use of machines, make use of different angles, just try it out with really light weight or no weight, just to figure out if it's actually comfortable for you. But this is a time when trial and error is going to be good for you. Go in, figure out what you can do, figure out what you can't do, and then once you've sort of got that list, you can create a plan to help you either train each muscle group or to just go in and do what you can. Right, we're in for top set. Getting my headphones out because I hate training hard with no headphones in. It's weird. I'd rather get my own tunes on. So, stack again. Gonna get a lot of reps. I should really get a gym pin. Probably may get 15, 14, somewhere around there. Let's get it. Oh. 15 clean ones. We take that all day. Right, I'm gonna do a back off set, same weight again, try and get 10, 12 reps. Then it's time for the big boy. We're on to hack squats. Extension, dusted. Strength is absolutely flying at the moment. I'm currently 8.5 weeks post-shoot. Strength is peak, it's at all-time strength. I've got another good few months pushing up as well, so I'm excited to see where it can take things. I'm actually naked under this shirt. No, I'm not. I don't know if you can see my shorts from there, you can. So yeah, hack squat. Last time I did it, I got 110 for 3, which is obviously not great. I'm going to drop it to 100, see how many reps I can get. I did get 100 for 9 a few weeks ago, and then I got 110 for 4, and then I got 110 for 3. So I'm going to drop it back down to 100, see if I can crank out 10. 10 reps would be nice. Back to the injuries again, keep doing that. It's funny, I was watching a podcast, Donald Trump and Joe Rogan, and Joe Rogan was making a joke that Donald Trump weaves like just the maddest conversations together, goes off on tangents and goes off on loops. I feel like these videos are good. I like the format. You've got getting some knowledge from the training, and then in between, once I've done my sets, you're getting some knowledge of other things. So yeah, it's good. Right, I'm gonna do my warm-ups and then I'll get on for top set. Another one as well, making use of equipment. So wrist straps, knee sleeves, anything that's gonna help to support you. You can use a belt, like just for me, from personal experience. I wouldn't go anywhere near my top set deadlift without a belt because my lower back's made of glass. I'll use it when it's needed. Like for example, I've worked up to 5 plates, done a set with 1 plate, 2 plates, 3 plates. And then when I did my warm-up with 4 plates, that's when I slapped the sleeves on. So only use them when you need them. Yep. Fuck. 6, not great. Oh well, can't win them all. Got the back off set left for a bit of redemption. Right then peeps, we're in for a cluster set. I'm not gonna lie, I think this is the exercise that's responsible for pretty much all of my quad growth. That's just because it's brutal. It's absolutely disgusting. So essentially, 6 sets of 6 reps with 20 seconds rest in between each set. So pick a weight that you think you can handle for around 18 reps, do 6 reps, rest 20 seconds, do 6 reps, repeat until you've done 6 sets. So the idea is that in the 5th or 6th set, you actually fail. You don't get to 6 reps. I'm gonna do 1 warm-up set. I've already done some direct quad work. I've done 2 exercises. So I'm gonna warm up with 4 plates, 80 kilos a side, and then I'm gonna knock it up to 5 plates a side, and that will be my working weight. The whole exercise should take around 5.5 to 6 minutes, which Doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're constantly doing reps, it's a lot, trust me. After the last set, I'm going to be hobbling around like I'm disabled. I can guarantee it happens every time. Not going to show you every rep of every set because I don't think anyone wants to watch me doing a leg press for 6 minutes, so I'll just show you the last rep of each set. Set 2, already burning. Got 4 more left. Oh God, Lord have mercy. God. There's nothing that burns like this, man. It's so bad. Ooh. Just pulled the handle off. Jesus. Yes, peeps, that's the session wrapped up. I've actually just done some RDLs using a belt because my lower back is still definitely a weak point. When I do my leg press and my hack squat, those movements do tax my lower back a little bit. So I've got RDLs at the end of my session. By the time I get around to my RDLs, like my lower back is fried. So I have to take a good amount of time to rest and then I'm ready to hit my sets. But now I'm finished with my RDLs, so I'm absolutely cooked. Right, I've obviously trained legs, but I'll give you I need to practice my posing, so it'll be full body. Full body posing, man. I woke up at 97.7 kilos this morning. Condition's holding up nice. Remember last time I was at 100 kilos at my peak bulk, 100, 101. I was a little bit fat, I was a little bit fluffy. I'm getting fluffy, holding a little bit of water, but I'm in better condition than I was last time. So let me clip you down there and we'll run through what we'll do legs. That's my favourite pose. Just with my frame, I think it looks quite cool. I need to figure out how my legs are going properly. Bear in mind, this is with no upper pump. I've trained legs, so my upper body's flat for the time being. I think my side poses are definitely better than my front poses. I'm not really. I've got a little bit of a wide waist, my shoulders are not that wide. Getting there, it's a work in progress. Yeah, sweet. It's going to wrap up the video, peeps. Hope you enjoyed it, hope you found it useful. Drop me a like, drop me a comment, drop me a sub. I'll catch you people in the next one.